Take a look at these listings on eBay and other marketplaces. $400, $600, even $2,200 for a 20-cent coin from 1940. At first glance, it looks like a joke. Most people find these in old family boxes and think they've hit the jackpot, only to be told they're worth less than $1. But today, we are going to see why, in very specific cases, those high prices are actually justified. We aren't talking about scams here. We're talking about the massive gap between a circulated coin and a pristine one. If you have a specimen in mint state, the rules of the game change completely. Let's dive into the data to understand why a common year can become a high-value asset. Before we dive into the technical data, I want to invite you to join our community. On this channel, we break down the truth behind both rare coins and common ones, with unique features that make them worth watching. Supporting the channel is completely free. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. By doing so, you help us keep this independent analysis alive. And make sure to turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll get early access to every release you don't want to miss. Our upcoming premiere this Saturday at 6 p.m. EST, where we'll expose the massive scam surrounding the 1-cent euro coin from 2017. Be there to see how the market is being manipulated. Now let's get back to our 1940 Impero and look at the real numbers. Now, let's check the official data on Numista. The 1940 Impero has a huge mintage, over 40 million pieces in total. Normally, this means common. However, look at the high-grade columns. For uncirculated UNC, or fleur de coin FDC conditions, you'll often see no price listed, or NA. This is the key. Finding this specific steel alloy in perfect, scratchless condition is incredibly rare. Because there is no fixed price for a perfect specimen if the coin is professionally certified and graded, for example, an MS65 or higher. A collector who wants the absolute best for their collection might be willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It's not about the year. It's about the certified perfection. To understand these values, I always use Numista. Unlike many other pricing sites or forum rumors, Numista is a world-class database fueled by real mintage figures and community-driven data. It's not just about a price tag. It's about the mintage records, the weight, and the precise alloy composition. While other sites might give you hyped prices based on single lucky sales, Numista gives you the cold, hard context of global rarity. It's the ultimate filter against misinformation, and it's exactly what we use here to keep things real. Let's analyze the reverse. We see a female figure facing right, an allegory of Italy standing in front of a large fascio littorio with an axe. At the bottom, we find the year of the fascist era, in Roman numerals 18. The material is Acmonital. This is an Italian acronym for Italian monetary steel. One technical tip: Acmonital is magnetic. If you place a magnet near a 1940 cent and it doesn't react, you are looking at a fake or a different, non-magnetic experimental alloy, which would be an entirely different and rare story. But for the standard 1940, the click of the magnet is a first step for authenticity. Why is it so hard to find them in perfect condition? In 1940, Italy entered the war. These coins were handled by soldiers, passed through dirty hands in the trenches, and many were lost or melted down for their metal content. Finding one that survived 86 years without a single microscopic scratch is a miracle. Before you sell, look at the luster. Does it have that cartwheel effect when you rotate it under the light? If yes, it might be worth a professional grading. If you want more technical breakdowns like this, hit the button to subscribe. Become a numismaniacs. Let's focus on the female figure on the reverse. She represents Italia, the personification of the nation. Notice how she is depicted. She is strong, looking forward to the right, facing the future with an almost divine posture. This wasn't just artistic choice. It was meant to evoke the grandeur of the ancient Roman Empire. In high-grade coins, the laurel wreath on her head and the lines of her face are incredibly sharp. If these look smooth, the value of your coin drops. Behind the lady, we see the fascio latorio with the axe. This was the primary symbol of the regime. Take a close look at the ropes binding the wooden rods together. In a mint state or FDC specimen, you should be able to count the individual strands of the rope. Most circulated coins show these as a flat, blurry mass. If you can see the texture of the wood and the sharpness of the axe blade, you are looking at a coin that was struck with a fresh die and never touched by the public. Finally, look at the bottom left for the letter R. This is the mint mark for Rome. To its right, we have the face value, C20, in the year 1940. Every single element here was designed to be perfectly balanced. A hallmark of Romagnoli's style. Turning over, and we have the obverse. We have the profile of King Victor Emmanuel III, facing left. Look at the sharpness of the legend. This represents the era when Italy was a kingdom and an empire. The most important detail is the engraver's name, J. Romagnoli, located right under the king's neck. In a high-grade specimen, you should see the crisp lines of the hair and the texture of the mustache. If these areas look smooth or greasy, the coin has lost its numismatic premium. The 1940 strike is known for being quite sharp, so any loss of detail is a sign of heavy circulation. Let's talk about the production environment. 1940 wasn't just another year. Italy was shifting its entire industry toward the war effort. This meant that the mint in Rome had to work under immense pressure. Interestingly, the 20-cent coin was the workhorse of the Italian economy. It was the coin used for daily bread, newspapers, and bus tickets. This high circulation is exactly why finding an uncirculated specimen today is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, the material, Acmonital. The name stands for Acido Monetario Italiano. It was a revolutionary choice for the time. Before this, Italy used pure nickel. But nickel was a strategic metal needed for armor plating and weapons. By switching to stainless steel, the government saved precious resources for the front lines. But steel is much harder to strike than silver or nickel. This caused the dies to wear out faster, creating those flat strikes we often see on late war coins. You also have to look at this coin as a piece of propaganda. The Impero series was designed to project strength. The fascio latorio on the reverse and the king's title as emperor were constant reminders of the regime's ambitions. Every time an Italian citizen paid for something, they were holding a political message. In 1940, that message was at its peak, just before the tides of the conflict turned and lead the country toward a very different destiny. Did you know there are tiny variants to look for? Some 1940 coins show a slightly different spacing in the Roman numerals, 18. And collectors go crazy for these minor die varieties. Also, look at the edge of the coin. It's redded, grooved. On many circulated pieces, the reading is almost gone. If the edge of your coin is still sharp enough to catch your fingernail, you are holding a specimen that spent very little time in the pockets of soldiers. This coin is a survivor. It's a 10-centimeter piece of history that witnessed the collapse of an era. Whether it's worth $1 or $500, it remains a fascinating artifact of human ambition and industrial engineering.